U.S. Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth is set to address a press conference on Thursday, providing a new assessment of the recent U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. This comes amid a heated debate over how much the bombings have impacted Tehran's nuclear program. The strikes were carried out over the weekend, following Israeli attacks on nuclear and military sites and Iran's retaliatory missile fire since June 13. The U.S. targeted 3 major Iranian atomic facilities, but controversy surrounds the extent of the damage. A classified assessment, first reported by CNN, suggests the strikes may not have destroyed critical components and might have only delayed Iran's nuclear program by a few months. Experts also question whether Iran had preemptively moved some 400 kilograms of enriched uranium, potentially hiding it elsewhere in the country. In response, the U.S. administration has pushed back strongly. President Trump has repeatedly claimed that the attack obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities, including the Fordow site buried inside a mountain. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told Fox News that there was no indication Iran had moved enriched uranium before the strikes. She said, "What's on the ground right now is buried under miles and miles of rubble."
And President Trump is absolutely right, and he returns to Washington today after a historic NATO summit where he has gotten our NATO allies to finally pay their fair share thanks to his strong leadership on the world stage. And I'd like to take a step back and just acknowledge the history that has been made in the course of the last week thanks to President Trump's strength. 5 days ago, the rogue Iranian regime possessed the capability to create a nuclear weapon that threatened the United States, the state of Israel, and the entire world. And presidents for decades have said, dating back to Bill Clinton, that Iran cannot possess a nuclear weapon. And because of the decisive leadership of President Trump and the skill and the excellence of our United States military, that imminent threat to the United States and the world has been demolished because of the successful operation on Saturday night. And not only that, but within the span of 48 hours, President Trump was able to turn around and negotiate a successful ceasefire between Israel and Iran, ending this war after just 12 days. No other president in history could have ever dreamed of such a success, and that's exactly why the fake news media is now trying to demean and undermine the president. And we've seen this playbook be run before. You have hostile actors within the intelligence community who illegally leak bits and pieces of an intelligence assessment to push a fake news narrative. And that's what the CNN story was yesterday. And it's not a coincidence that it was written by the exact same CNN reporter who wrote the original story, falsely alleging that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. The American public are smarter than this, and they should know the truth. President Trump completely and totally obliterated the capability of Iran to produce a nuclear weapon, and the world is safer today because of his historic efforts.
Trump announced that Hegseth, who he referred to as the war secretary, would hold a press briefing to fight for the dignity of our great American pilots. CIA Chief John Ratcliffe said several key Iranian nuclear facilities had been destroyed and would take years to rebuild. Israel's military stated that it had delivered a significant blow but said it was too early to fully assess the damage. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared that Iran's nuclear project had been thwarted and warned against any attempts to rebuild it. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baqiei confirmed to Al Jazeera that their nuclear installations had been badly damaged. Trump indicated that nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran may resume next week. Iran, while denying any ambition for nuclear weapons, has said it's open to returning to negotiations. Meanwhile, wartime restrictions are easing. Iran has reopened eastern airspace, and in Tel Aviv, civilians welcomed the ceasefire. The conflict killed 627 civilians in Iran and 28 in Israel. A state funeral will be held Saturday in Tehran for top Iranian commanders and nuclear scientists killed in the war.